This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT.
Stormtrooper armor deflects everything except Orback hooves. They're like a horse version of Thomas the Tank Engine.
AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we give our review of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Is it a worthy follow-up to Ghostbusters Afterlife? Is it a worthy addition to the Ghostbusters franchise? Is it a worthy movie, period? We discuss. This is the Nerf Herder Council. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as the Facebook and YouTube pages of the Virtual Cantina Network. Guys, as a reminder, there could be some bad language in the show tonight, and the views of the Nerf Herder Council don't necessarily reflect those of the Virtual Cantina Network. We are, of course, brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you are watching on either of the YouTube channels, please do not forget to click that like button, click that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. And, of course, if you would like to get customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. Without further ado, let's say a small prayer together and hope that his computer shit is actually working, considering the fact that he had to reboot just before I went live. He is, of course, my best friend and my co-host. AJ, what's going on, man?
Can you hear me?
Oh, it works. Yes.
We get it? Yeah. All right, cool.
Prayers are answered. The prayers are answered. There we go.
Nice. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing very well. It's kind of messed up. We were talking about this the other day. For people who don't know us won't really understand this, but people who know us will get it. It's funny how we frequently have the same hair without meaning to. And it's usually the short spiky hair. Then you went and did that. I was growing mine out. And then finally I got sick of wearing a hat and figured out I could do this messy shit with it. And all of a sudden now here we are on camera looking somewhat similar yet again. We must be like twins or something. Have that stupid twin thing where, you kind of
you got a brain cell and I got a brain cell. That's how it works.
Exactly. See, Kale's bringing it up already. Good to see you, Kale. He says, Laz, did you both get a haircut or something? Now, Kale, I was growing mine out, and I just got tired of wearing a hat all the time. And I was like, I had to interview somebody for an open position at my job today, and I was like, you know what? So over the weekend, I just decided to see what it would do, and this is what it does. I'm like, oh, cool. I don't have to wear a hat anymore. And AJ's had his for a while, so I can't really, take credit, but he's been doing his like that for a bit. So, yeah. So the Drake hair update, the great Drake hair update of 2024. There we go.
Thrilling for all our audio viewers.
The audio viewers are getting the ultimate bang for their buck as usual on the Nerf Herder Council. So, yeah. So there we go. We both have similar hair without even meaning to yet again. So obviously, we are going to be talking about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire tonight. We went and saw this on Friday. AJ, I think you remember it a little bit more than I do. because I kind of had that Star Wars reaction of, oh man, cool new Ghostbusters. And I was just, it's weird, man. We've talked about it on the show, but I tend to just get into the vibe of the movie. When I first see something I'm really excited to see, I'm just kind of into it. Like, oh, this is cool, man. I'm not thinking about the plot. I'm not thinking about characters, and it's just, I'm getting into it. So, I'm in that kind of mode. So I remember parts and stuff, and I read some reviews to kind of, post spoiler myself. Kale says, full disclosure, the movie's not even been out for a week, so I have not yet seen it. Well, Kale, that's a perfect time for us to let everybody know that this show is going to have spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, I don't think we're going to go too crazy into it, but in terms of spoilers, but there will be spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled, this is not the episode for you. So, first impressions of the movie, AJ. We left the theater. What did you think right off the rip?
Well, it's funny you mentioned how you were having too much fun just watching the movie to really pay close attention to it for this review show, because I had the same impression. It was fun. I think I had a lot more fun in this one than the last one. Okay, so that's what I was hoping for. The last one was just a very different tone from the originals, and I think this was more of a return to form. What about you?
I would disagree. I had more fun with Afterlife. When my initial impression was, I had read not reviews, but I had brought up a bunch of reviews and kind of read like the tagline and the headline just to try and get like kind of like a cross section of what quote unquote professionals thought about it. And I tend to agree with them. They basically said it was not as fun, not as funny, but with a ton of fan service. And I think that describes it perfectly. For me, my very first impression was the movie's just kind of there. Like, it's good. I'll watch it again, but it's not going to be the one that stands out to me in the Ghostbusters canon. So, but I enjoyed it, and honestly, that's all I went for. I go to a Ghostbusters movie to see Ghostbuster stuff, and I got to see Ghostbuster stuff. So it was, it was cool. So
how many times in the show are we allowed to make the joke that Bustin makes us feel good?
Well, unfortunately, my wife's not here to annoy the shit out of with that, like I did after the movie. So,
we're gonna say it, so I just figured we might as well get it out of the way right now.
Yeah, that will be the joke of the show. Yes, Bustin makes us feel good. So there we go. That was plentiful as we were walking out of the theater from seeing the movie. So I'm sure it'll come up again here tonight. Kale says, I have heard this is fairly terrible, though universally agreed that it's at least better than 2016. Kale, I don't think it's terrible. I really don't. I've seen some reviews like that too, and I completely disagree. Again, it's, if you're going to put it up against the other movies, and I don't even really count 2016 because that was just,
yeah, the franchise doesn't either, so that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, they don't really. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of that one. That just was, when you're coming off of 1 and 2 and you're waiting for this legendary Ghostbusters return, that's not exactly what you were waiting for. And I do not. Full disclosure, the trailers did so little for me that I didn't even watch that movie, and then all the reviews and subsequent people crapping on it really encouraged me to not see that one. So I can't comment on it because I'm not familiar with it, but I will say that from what I've heard from word of mouth about that one compared to Frozen Empire, no, they're not comparable. I don't think it's terrible at all. I would never ever say it's terrible. I think it's good. I think it's a good movie. I think it's an entertaining movie. It's a Ghostbusters movie. But I would say, like, if I had to watch any of the 4 outside of 2016, this would probably be my last choice. But that's not saying that it's bad. It's kind of like, saying, okay, if I had to watch one of the 9 Star Wars movies in the Skywalker saga, one of them is going to be last, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. So, okay. The Force Awakens, like I'll watch The Force Awakens any day of the week. Would I rather watch the other 8? Yeah, but I'll still watch The Force Awakens. So,
okay, that's fair. That's fair. It's interesting that you say you had more fun with Afterlife than with Frozen Empire, because I felt like that one actually dialed back the humor and dialed more on the character beats in the story. It was, the rediscovery of the Ecto-1 and, Phoebe Spengler's journey to understand her grandfather and the legacy and what he was working on. And I felt like this one, with all that out of the way, was able to just jump in. Like the opening scene was a nice ghost chase through New York City with Ecto-1. It was like right back into the thick of things instead of like waiting for so long in Afterlife for the actual ghost busting to start happening.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. That it was cool that they got right into it this time. So that was a nice little change of pace, I thought. So I just think it was the darkness of the movie that kind of was a little stark. It was very Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom without as much of the fun parts, I think. Because Temple of Doom is always happening in like a dark cave and, ripping people's hearts out and all that kind of crap. And this was kind of the same type of a thing. ASRP, Hamilton, Alabama State Roleplay. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Says, I think that it's okay, but some parts are worse than others. Yeah. I got it. If there was a worse part, I think what I didn't like, the one thing I didn't like, and I know a lot of people say there's too many characters. I didn't really mind that so much. The whole Firemaster thing, that character was just kind of dumb. And I don't know about you, but it felt a little lazy to me because I'm thinking, didn't we already have the Keymaster?
The name definitely felt lazy.
Yeah, that was, and I don't know. And the character was just, I know it's a comedy, but it felt too silly.
It was weird the way it got pulled in two directions, right? Like we're supposed to be building the threat of this big bad. And at the same time, it's kind of played for laughs. Like this dude can barely bend a candle. And yet he's supposed to go up against this dude who's supposed to be all dark and grim.
Yeah. Like the ultimate super baddie. Yeah. That was really the only thing that was kind of off-putting to me. Other than that, I didn't have a problem with it. Everyone's talking about all these new characters and stuff. I didn't really have a problem with it, I suppose. I mean, I could see why some people might and say there's like too many characters going on. Like, yeah, but they mostly focused on the ones they needed to. Phoebe's family and the old Ghostbusters. So. Mm-hmm. That was cool. And honestly, that's one thing that I really did like is that they did bring, the original cast into it a lot more than they did in Afterlife. Afterlife, the way they did it was awesome because it was at the end. It was this big reveal. They had the ghost of Egon, which was really cool. So I liked seeing them more, but they didn't overdo it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I guess, how Star Wars fans wanted the sequel trilogy to go. Doesn't it feel like that? Because you got the original cast back together, but then you still have these new characters doing their thing. It was like a nice blend, I thought.
Yeah, like you said, the cast was very large in this. They had a lot of stories to juggle, and not everyone got their due. But yeah, whereas in Afterlife, like I said, we were just waiting. We knew we were going to get the original Ghostbusters, but it took forever for them to come back into that story. This one, to just have it be like, Winston's a millionaire and he's doing some stuff, and Stance is running an occult bookshop and he's living his life and he's in it like pretty prominently. Yeah, Venkman doesn't come into it until the end, and that's kind of almost a why bother cameo. But but the other two had a good reason to be there. I thought they were folded into the story very well, but they didn't overshadow the new characters. It was still the new characters doing all the action, and everyone had their own little part to play. It was cool.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But I will say I do disagree with you on one thing. I don't think Venkman was kind of like a cameo. Like I felt like he was in there a reasonable amount. I honestly thought that the way they wrote his character was a little off from his original vibe. It wasn't. It was. See, I don't know if this makes sense. It was like they were trying to write Venkman instead of writing Venkman. You know what I mean? It was almost like a cover band trying to play the song. It sounds great, and it's the song but it's not that song. Like it's kind of that way. I mean, it was good, but I just thought certain things he said and certain reactions, like I could just hear him responding differently in my head than he did on screen.
I did have a bit of a bummer because they went and got Walter Peck back as the mayor. And, the classic Venkman line, like, yes, this man has no dick.
Yeah.
Like, they could have called back to that, but they didn't because we're now in like the PG era. It's a family franchise. Like, does anybody remember Ray getting sucked off by a ghost in the first one?
Thank you. And I mean, honestly, like, is it really that un-PC to call somebody dickless? I mean, come on. That's a pretty mild insult. Oh, you dickless bastard. Like, it's like, what the hell is that? Like, oh, Shane O'Mac, what's up, man?
Yeah, kids have heard a lot worse these days.
See you, bud. Yeah, I didn't think that was bad at all. So I was kind of bummed about that too, especially because the guy's the mayor. Like now he can really screw with them because he's this bad guy. So yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a missed opportunity. But I thought it was a great callback. I know you're not a big fan of. We've used the term many times on the show, the member berries, when something goes to fan service E.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it worked great in this one. I was a fan. I liked seeing all that stuff. I thought it was handled in a wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of way that didn't intrude on the news story that they were telling. And it was just kind of fun to see that stuff. I didn't think it was heavy handed at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, so I read some online reviews as well, and it seems like there's either the absolute like bottom feeder apologists who are just like, if it's got a Ghostbusters logo on it, then I love it. And then there's the other side that's just looking for like anything to tear this thing down. What did you think about Annie Potts' involvement? I forget her character, Janine.
Yeah.
She was in the last one, which I barely remembered actually.
Yeah.
But she got her own suit in this one. People are like, oh, so now even the secretary gets a suit. I'm like, does anybody remember Ghostbusters 2 when Rick Moranis' character went and got himself a Ghostbuster suit and he was riding the bus and Slimer was the bus driver and everything? Like,
yeah,
it's almost like that itself was a member berry. Like, we're going to take a background character and we're going to suit him up as a Ghostbuster because, yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I didn't have a problem with it, but it was a little bit of okay. But then I thought, okay, but if you're gonna have Janine, what else is she gonna do? Stand there cowering behind them, trying to answer the phone? Like, what else? What else are they gonna have her do? So I was like, okay. And again, it was cool to have that original cast back. It was fun, and in the absence of Egon, I thought that was a good replacement. So. Got some comments here I want to get to, so let's go through here. So Kale says, please tell me they actually busted some ghosts this time. Last time it was like the whole film before a singular ghost got even close to busted. Yeah, like I say, Kale, they opened the movie with a pretty big ghost chase, so there were more in here. I kind of thought the same thing, Kale. I really like Afterlife, but I thought there was a little bit of lack of ghosts and busting. So that said, I still had fun with it. Sean Hines, our very good buddy, the Vandalorian, always good to see you, brother. He says, missed opportunity to have Peck and Venkman face off again. Instead, he faces off with Ant-Man. Nice. I thought it was the dude from This Is 40. Yeah, I really thought that they could have done more there too. Like I said, like the having Walter Peck in there at all was awesome. I never expected. And to have him the new mayor was like, okay, well, now how are the Ghostbusters going to get out of this? Because the guy's got a hard on for him. So that was awesome. Shane O'Mac says, are they milking the franchise or is it still strong? No, I think it's good, Shane. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie.
This is kind of what we're unpacking through the whole show, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, there's some people who say like there is only one Ghostbuster story and they've just tried to tell it now 4 different times. 5 kind of, if we want to acknowledge 2016.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Oh, look at my asshole brother-in-law. He says, cut your hair, hippie. You're just mad that you can't, you're just mad that you can't grow hair like I can. So don't give me any bullshit.
Hey. No busting on the guys who can't grow hair.
Dude, but busted makes me feel good. I can't believe you walked
God damn it,
right
I didn't even set that one up.
I can't even believe you walked right into that. Holy crap. And here comes the frowny face, and I know who that's from. Oh, no, that's nope. There we go. Nope. The Vandalorian frowny face. Man, look at that. He's bummed out. We bummed out the Vandalorian. What are we doing?
We didn't even, man, of all the things we've said, that gets a frowny face? Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that basically is what we're talking about. This whole show is like, and I put it in the description, is it a worthy successor to Afterlife? Is it a worthy Ghostbusters movie? And hell, is it a worthy movie, period?
Mm-hmm. Look, Mandalorian's making threats on us now.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Are you threatening me?
Are you threatening me? I'm Cornholio. Emoji typo. Yeah. We know what you're doing over there, Vando. Come on now. Yeah, I think on all counts, I think the answer is yes. I think it's a good successor to Afterlife. I think it's a good Ghostbusters movie. I think it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all these people say like there's only one Ghostbuster story. It's like saying there's only one superhero story or one Star Wars story. Like, yeah, that the good guys are going to win, the bad guys are going to lose. In this case, there's going to be some ghosts. They're going to kick the heroes' ass while the heroes are trying to figure out what's going on, and then the heroes are going to get their shit together, and they're going to take down the bad guy.
Yeah,
that's always the story. The question is like, how does it get there? And the thing that I'll give more credit to this one than the last one for is I had more fun getting to know the villain in this one than the last one, especially in learning that the last one was tied back to Gozer again. I thought that the ghost character, what was her name? Not the ice god or whoever they were fighting, but the ghost that Phoebe was talking to.
I'm glad you reminded me about that because I forgot because I didn't like that shit at all. But anyway, yeah.
Really?
That was stupid. Just got to sucker them in so that then she can cross to the other side. Like, stop. And also, I'm sorry. Like, if they were going to do it, I think I would have liked it if it wasn't like some person that just died yesterday. Like, if you're going to have a character like that, make it somebody who's like from the 1800s or something that has been like suffering. This just looked like she, basically like took a bad hit of heroin or something and got knocked into some fentanyl and OD'd by accident or, some accidental thing. And, she was pristine and 2024. Like, it just wasn't believable to me. I was like,
I like the idea of a new ghost. I hate this idea. Like every time someone goes on a real ghost hunt or a haunted house, it's never like this house was built in 1974 and it's got a ghost. It's like, no, this has been 100 years plus, and it's always some ancient thing. Like, did ghosts just like stop happening at some point? Dude. I like that they actually brought like a modern character. Now it didn't have to be like explicitly modern, but it was someone who it was just interesting to have any character development for the villains whatsoever. Usually it's just they're evil, they were evil, then they died evil, and now they're an evil ghost.
Yeah, but this person looks like they're waiting to cross over for like the same amount of time they're waiting for a fucking bus. Like, what good is that? I don't care about that. Shut up, you whiner. There's people waiting hundreds of years to cross over. I don't need to see your dumbass sitting there for like 20 minutes going, oh, I can't cross over. I'm going to go turn on the good guy. Shut up. You got years
doesn't that
to
make
wait.
sense?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Like, if you just died, wouldn't that be the point at which you absolutely will not accept it and you're just freaking out trying to escape that fate?
No, that's whiny. Shut up, whiner. I don't care about you. I care about the little kid that died of like accidental drowning in like 1894.
Okay,
like,
so John, how long are you going to be dead before you accept the fact that you're dead?
I am not going to start
what's the statute of limitations on not liking the fact that you died?
If I'm in a movie, it's going to take a while. Jesus. See, okay, so Torres initially, good to see you, by the way, brother. We'll see you on Saturday, maybe. He says, I thought that was a good part, John. You're wrong. And then when I phrased it like that, he says, dang, when you say it like that, yeah. I mean, seriously. It just looked like she was posting on her Instagram and then dead. Oh, I got to cross over. Like, shut up. No. It just wasn't scary. It looked out of place. It looked like one of the people, like she could have been one of the new Ghostbusting crew, because they're all like, teens, tweens, early 20s, whatever.
Man,
it might have been
so far apart on this.
It was dumb. It stuck out like a sore thumb to me. It was. I don't mind the idea of it. It's just, I don't know. Like it just like, it looked like an Instagram influencer just croaked out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're complaining that they can't fucking cross. Like, shut up. I didn't like it.
By the way, her name is Melody.
Whatever.
Just so
Melody,
we can, frame
whatever.
it properly. No, I don't know. Like I said, I like the fact.
Double raspberry thumbs down.
No, I liked it because, it subverts the expectation.
Now we got the chat doing it.
Nice.
Horsehead says, but busted makes me feel good. Oh my God. Yes. When the chat gets into it, you're doing it, man. Oh, see, all right. See, here
as soon as you saw a piece of the chessboard move, and like a ghost is doing it, you're instantly thinking, look, what was your prediction when you saw that move? Who did you think the ghost was going to turn out to be? Did you have any preconceptions about what that ghost was going to be?
Yes.
And what were they?
I didn't think it was going to be some stupid tween who looked like she just got off her Instagram page and croaked, especially playing chess. That wasn't even that wasn't even like freaking like it just okay. I'm trying to think out how to phrase this because I don't want this to sound offensive, because it's not how I mean it at all. But I'm not picturing somebody like that engaging in a game of chess. You just don't picture it. Like I'm figuring somebody old timey. Like chess feels like a more old timey game, so I'm thinking a more old timey character. Horsehead is Jeff Caffrey. Okay, there we go. He says she's played all her dead life. Look at Kale. It's answering your question. How long do you have to be dead? He says, well, it depends on how you die. How extraneously horseshit was it? Did the people involved ever get their comeuppance? How long has my ghost been active? There's a lot of questions here. Chesty Crawley, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, set an alarm for this podcast too. It's 8 p.m. every other Wednesday. So the weeks I'm not doing Talking Into Infinity, I'm talking about this stuff and telling my brother why he's wrong about a ghost like this.
Okay, so to answer Kale's question, Melody died in a fire with her family when she was 16.
Then why isn't she all burned up? There you go. Perfect example. She died in a fire. That's okay. I died of smoke inhalation. Ooh, I'm so scared. Nah, show her all charred up and shit. I'd be fine if she's playing chess. If she's all, you hear my, I'd be fine if she was all charred up and shit playing chess, like her fingers all fucked up, like bony, like all flesh, like bits of ghostly flesh falling off it, moving the rook and all that. Yeah, but no, she's in pristine condition. Her clothes weren't even like charred or anything.
Phoebe wouldn't have wanted to hook up with her then. Come on.
That was strongly implied, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was strongly implied.
Although I think we're reaching kind of equilibrium on that, because it was implied, but it wasn't overt. So I like that. It's, you can ignore it if you want. You can headcanon it if you want.
I agree with that. Look, Zamian's tuning in. Good to see you, Zamian. He agrees with me. See, Zamian's on my side.
All right.
So there we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Vando nailed it. Vandalorian. She should have looked like the cab driver in the first flick. Yes. Give me somebody messed up like that. And Jeff Caffrey, Horsehead, he says she had limitless flames licking at her shoulders. Yeah, but she wasn't all torched up and stuff. Like, that's fine. I was wondering, what the hell are these flames? Like, what are these ghostly flames? And then later on, when they said, I burned up in a fire, I was like, bullshit.
Look, the ghost rules are very loose in this franchise anyway. Like, that librarian ghost is still kind of weird, how she looks normal until she turns into a skeleton. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't like it.
It's whatever the story demands, dude. That's the bottom line of it all.
All right. Circle J may have the answer. He said, by the way, good to see you, brother. AJ, you should talk to Circle J about a job if it's remote. He says there's little marshmallow men walking around. I mean, what do you want? That's true. But the little marshmallow men, the Stay Puft, the mini Stay Puft men, those are real. Those exist. and they're funny and they're cute and they're good.
Mhm.
They're like minions, only smaller and more tasty and evil.
I don't know. I'm surprised that I haven't actually read this online, so maybe I'm going to start something here. But to me, they're kind of like the porgs of the Ghostbusters universe.
That's hilarious.
They're little pains in the ass, but they're adorable and cute, and they are very marketable.
Yes, they are. Oh my god! And they're not in the movie as much as I thought they would be, which kind of bummed me out.
Well, I'm glad about that because they got no reason to exist. They're just there because people like them. They serve no purpose. So I was afraid that they were going to be all over the place. Like, oh, these are our mascots now. Like, yeah, that's like in the Ghostbusters cartoon when Slimer joined the team. Like, you guys bust ghosts, and he's a ghost. What the hell is he doing on the team?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
But anyway, getting back to the reveal of Melody as a ghost. When I saw Phoebe sitting down and playing chess, and pieces started to move, I was like, do not give me Egon again.
Oh, what? What?
It was a nice send-off in the last movie. I was afraid they were going to somehow pull a CG Spangler back into things again. I'm like, we don't need it. That was a nice little coda, a nice send-off for Harold Ramis, and let's not touch it. And I'm so glad they didn't.
I would have loved it.
But isn't that just member berries again, though?
What's wrong with that? It's better than some supposed to be charred up Instagram model for no goddamn reason. Look, see, we're gonna leave this up to the chat.
Okay,
which would have been better?
The question is this supposed to just be a nostalgia trip, or is this supposed to be an active modern franchise that actually creates characters that people want to follow moving forward?
Again, if it wasn't what they did, I'd rather have Egon. I like the idea of having a ghost and okay, I gotta sucker him in to get it, whatever. That's fine. I didn't like the delivery of the ghost. Like I thought it was a crappy choice. So given the crappy choice or Egon, I would have taken Egon. But then again, you know me. But to your point, you know me. I'm the one that sits there in the theater, and every time something I know comes on the screen, I'm going, yeah. I just can't get out of the past. I'm nostalgia guy. So, that I don't have to have it, but I always do enjoy that. Vandalorian. She looked like an emo influencer that's indifferent to her blue flame ghostness.
Fair. That is fair. But I mean, Phoebe's the most compelling character, right?
Oh, but dude, one of the most underrated characters in movies in recent history for me. I love the character of Phoebe.
Yeah. So, Melody might not have been the best execution, but I did like that it was a good bit of character development and stuff for Phoebe to deal with through the movie. It was way more compelling than just the old, well, I'm the granddaughter of a Ghostbuster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and dude, I mean, she looks like Egon. She acts like Egon. I mean, it's like hitting those member berries without actually having Egon in the movie, which I think is the writing on that character is absolutely perfect. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Caffrey is disagreeing with me immediately. He says, I thought there was too much Phoebe. Jeff, I'm going to completely disagree with you. I love that character. Kale says the kids are really good. He says the kids are actually really good. And Zamian agrees too. Zamian says, in my opinion, Phoebe was one of my favorite characters on the show. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, AJ, I think you and I talked about this a little bit off air. That character is incredible. I think she's written perfectly.
Yeah, question for Zamian in the chat there. Is it because you're close in age with the character? Do you relate to her better?
Ooh, okay. Good question.
So we might just have a generational thing where we're looking at the middle-aged people, especially like the Paul Rudd character and all that. And, Miranda and I turned to each other and we were kind of laughing about the whole like step parent thing and the dynamic of all that. Because that's where we're at in our lives. You are too.
Yeah.
And so, I think they've got to cover all the quadrants, so they've got the original Ghostbusters for people that were that grew up with the Bill Murrays and Dan Aykroyds and things like that. And then they've got we grew up with them as adults as we were kids, and then we've got characters that are our point of view that are our age, and then we've got the younger generation as well. So I think they're really trying to pander to everybody.
Yeah. All right. So Zamian has answered your question. He says, I don't completely relate, but maybe partially. There you go. Okay.
Well, you've never been in love with an on-fire ghost. Okay. So what would you know, kid? Shut up.
We've
tried putting you to death in an apartment fire first, and then tell me how much you relate.
She didn't burn to death. I just told you that. It was smoke inhalation, and barely any smoke at that. She had weak lungs. It was one of those like COPD related deaths at like age 14 or whatever the fuck it was. That's how she died. It was medically induced by smoke inhalation.
I know exactly what it was. See, they didn't get the partnership locked down, and you can't advertise these products in mass market movies anyway. But what it was all the damn vaping, and the brand, of course, was JUUL. So instead of Zool, it was Juul. Yep.
Very well played. Very well played, man. Oh my
God. Chiming in. She got licked to death by flames.
Exactly. See, it's just dumb. Again, keep that character exactly as is, but make her all burned up. Then I'll believe it. It didn't even look like she was dead.
Kale nailed it. Kale nailed it right there. She didn't die in a fire. She lost a flame war.
Look at this. Jeff Caffrey. There is no vape, only Juul. Man, the chat is on point tonight. You guys are awesome. God bless it, man.
So with this massive cast of characters, who do you think got the short shrift?
Wow. That is a difficult question to answer. I would say, man, I don't know. Part of me wants to say Slimer, but I don't think you can have like a shitload of Slimer. Part of me wants to say Venkman because I think he could have been written a little better. Other than that, I thought it was pretty well balanced. I didn't find myself thinking, "Oh, I wish I had more of this person or that character or whatever." I thought it was. I thought it was pretty balanced, really. Maybe you could say the mom. I don't think she had a lot to do, but just kind of like play second fiddle to Paul Rudd most of the time. But I mean, even that was weird because Paul Rudd is usually like a scene stealer for me, and I found myself kind of paying attention to stuff around him. And he was perfectly fine, but it's just I think all the things going on around him kind of overshadowed him in this one. What do you think?
Well, you were saying earlier how you didn't like buy into the whole Flame Master idea or Fire Master. Flame Master, Fire Master, I forget.
Fire Master.
Okay, yeah, that guy was actually, if anything, I think that guy got too much because for the amount of time it took to explain what he was able to do and why he was able to do it, it was very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like he just shows up in this like brass suit. Really, it was just to communicate the idea that brass was the key in this one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, big friggin' deal. He's got this grandmother and this whole backstory. I'm like, wow, man, that's a lot for how little you accomplished.
Yeah. Like I said,
really just so Phoebe could modify her proton pack. That was it.
Yeah. That was. I'm going to have to watch it a few more times because I completely agree with you on that. And I want to try and come up with ideas like, okay, what would I have preferred? Because after watching it only one time, you can't say, oh, they should have done this and should have done that. Like, but I mean,
I do think there was more they could have done with the whole family dynamic, the whole found family thing. Like you said, I feel like Paul Rudd and the mom didn't really have a whole lot to do. It focused mainly on, I feel like the big standouts for me were Dan Aykroyd having a lot more to do in this one, but it was integral to the story. So that made sense.
Yeah.
And the kids. Those are the ones that I remember most getting the most screen time. And that includes Melody. She's one of the kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then you always come across the problem. If you want more of one character, then who gets less?
Yeah.
Who do you think wouldn't suffer from having less screen time?
Yeah.
And I don't really know on that one, but you keep talking about Venkman being well balanced. I don't remember him showing up until like the final battle.
No, I mean, he was in there before a little bit. It's just, I think he was in there more than you remember, but well,
he didn't show up as a Ghostbuster. Like, he was definitely apart from the group. And then he's like, all right, I'll put this on again, I guess.
Well, that was kind of interesting to me because that's art imitating life, right? Because it took them forever to get him on board for Afterlife, and then all of a sudden he's easily back for this one. So I'm wondering, like, did he just have such a good time? I haven't read the articles online to see what he said about it. Like, did he just have such a good time with Afterlife that he's like, yeah, I'll come back? Or did he basically say, okay, I'm done? And they're like, well, but wait a minute, here's a Brinks truck full of goddamn money. Okay.
Right.
Kung Pao. Well, okay.
It is interesting. It is absolutely interesting to me that, like, a rumor has it that the reason it took so long to get a Ghostbusters movie done was because the original cast had right of first refusal. Like, if they didn't like a script, then the whole production was shut down.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray was the guy who wouldn't greenlight anything. So it took until, unfortunately, 2016, and then Afterlife. And it's amazing how, like, as soon as Afterlife happened, the second one comes around. It's like, yeah, sure, totally. Yeah, let's do that. Like, maybe it's just a victory lap retirement tour or something, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So, man, the chat is on point, like I said. Jeff Caffrey, Horsehead, says Ray was everywhere, even when it didn't make sense. But I love me some Aykroyd. Yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. I liked having a bunch of Ray. I just think it's a great character, and having him kind of be like the old head and still being in his, the occult shop that is pretty cool. I like that. Vandalorian Sean Hines says, did we want more time with the OG Busters, especially Murray? Of course, but it was still a fun watch. Afterlife was better, but this is not as bad as the interwebs claim. Yeah, I think that's exactly my take. That your last point there. It was a fun watch. I liked Afterlife a little better, and it's not nearly as bad as a lot of the internet is saying. Miranda Helmet, good to see you, by the way. Good to see you. She says, I didn't like the Firemaster character at all. Found him annoying. Yeah, I was saying it at the beginning, Miranda. I didn't really like that character.
Is that the character or the actor? Because, man, every time he shows up in anything, I don't see a character. I just see like the same portrayal. It's yes, like Sam Jackson, except Sam Jackson has way more charisma.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that because I didn't want to say that because I obviously haven't seen everything this guy's done, but the few things I have, it's like he just has one delivery and he just plugs it into every role.
People say that Chris Pratt does the same thing. Like Star-Lord is Owen Grady, is Mario, is so on and so forth. But yeah, this guy, like,
I could see that
he might as well have been doing a Quest commercial. He might as well have been doing the Eternals. He might as well have been doing his fake Jedi character from the Kenobi series.
Yeah,
the guy's got like no range.
Yeah, it definitely took away from it for me. I and I get it. Like, Rick Moranis was weird. What the hell was it Janusz or whatever in Ghostbusters 2 was weird. I think those didn't take away from the story. Like, it didn't kind of make me go, what? As much as the Firemaster did. And yeah, I mean, Jeff Caffrey said it right here. His Jedi in Obi-Wan, in the Kenobi series was weird too. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I had the same reaction to him in Kenobi as I did in this.
Yeah, he's one of those characters. Maybe he's just like so identifiable because his delivery and everything is so unique that, like, as soon as he shows up, you're instantly reminded that you're watching a production of something rather than getting sucked into the story.
Yeah, there's something that's a little too campy. Like, I don't mind the humorous aspect of it. I think it feels like someone who thinks they're in a comedy when they're in more of like a drama. It's like, okay, let's dial back the comedic aspect a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing. You know, I mean, let's face it. Ray is a comedic character if you really get down to it in Ghostbusters. But you're never looking at him like, this goddamn goofball. Like, let's tone it down. Like, you know, if you're watching like Rob Riggle, you know, or somebody like that, where it's just over the top, or Jack Black or something. You know, Jim Carrey. Like, it's not like that. So, you know, you could buy into it. It doesn't take you out of the story. And I don't think the Fire Master took me out of the story. I just think it was a little, it kind of was a little weird to see, you know.
By the way, we've got a question in the chat about who is the Fire Master. It's Kumail Ali Nanjiani, who got like super shredded for Marvel, which is pretty much his big hype. Is that like, holy crap, this guy got like totally shredded.
Yeah.
If I need to bring up a picture, I can, but I think we know who we're talking about.
Yeah. Look at Chastity. So our good friend Chastity is opening up a bakery, so she's working on stuff. Speaking of Fire Master, just FYI, when you touch a cinnamon roll, it just came out of a 425 degree oven. It's hot. You know, I'm just gonna say this, Chastity, I love you, but if you're opening a bakery and still burning yourself on shit coming out of the oven, I think maybe you want to like pump the brakes on that grand opening. I think you got some things to work on.
Also, I don't think I think cinnamon rolls bake at like 350. So,
oh, look at this guy! It's fucking Julia Child over there.
I'm probably totally wrong, but whatever.
Oh my god!
I just like the idea that her ghost would just be dripping in frosting. It's like when you don't let the cinnamon rolls cool enough before you put on the icing, and it just like liquefies.
That's how Melody died. That's how Melody died. It was an oven-related accident from the waist down. You couldn't see it. See, now wouldn't that have been better if they never showed her from the waist down, and then at the end, right as she's leaving, she goes off camera, you see the whole thing, and basically she got disemboweled, like just cut in half, and there's like guts and shit trailing everywhere. So that's why they didn't show her the rest of it, because it's just absolutely revolting, like vomit-inducing gore, right as she's flying away. Like she tripped and fell on a railroad track right as the train was coming over her.
Oh God!
So of course the top half is untouched and the bottom just isn't there. Jeff Caffrey. AJ's read the hell out of a Pillsbury tube. Oh, that is awesome, man.
Now you're going to make me look that up. I want to know if my facts are straight.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Google, what temperature do you cook cinnamon rolls at?
Are we really doing this? Is it even telling you?
375.
All right. Well, you were close.
I just helped your bakery. You're welcome.
Okay, but see, Chastity says, my great great grandma's recipe calls for 425. I hit it when I was frosting the previous pan. Well, again, Chastity, you gotta not burn your hands, man. If it's one thing I know about bakers,
I'm not even gonna make jokes about ripping on great grandmother's recipe. So
yes, that is true.
Now I just want the recipe so I can have some cinnamon rolls.
Shane O'Mackey goes, you ass, you made my Google Home answer. Well, Shane, now you know how hot your oven needs to be to make cinnamon rolls. Oh. Oh my God. Vandalorian, melted from the waist down, you say? Does it smell like marshmallow fluff? Oh my God. Our show is so damn dumb. Oh my God. We go from having all these intelligent points to damn you in the private chat. We go from actually having an intelligent discussion to stupid shit like cooking cinnamon rolls. Okay. So back on point. Zamian mentioned something up above. Let's see if I can scroll up and find that. I wanted to ask you about. So he says, I didn't like the depiction of the main ghost. I found it more to be like a demon or something. Zamian, here's what I will say about that. I'll give you my take, and then AJ, let me know what you think. I didn't mind it per se, but it kind of felt like a first or second idea. Like, what about this for the bad guy? And it would have been way more fleshed out down the road with multiple iterations and all this stuff. But they just kind of took the first or second one and went, yeah, okay. And because it was like skinny and like it just seemed unfinished. I mean, I get it's supposed to be like a giant icicle or something like that in a way, but it was, I don't know. I I didn't mind it, but I think it would have been cooler if it was a little more menacing, I think. Or does it fit? Because it is supposed to be kind of like a giant icicle. What do you think?
Well, to Zamian's point, I can't remember if it was described as a demon or a god, but it was like Gozer, where it wasn't a ghost. The big villain was not a ghost. It was specifically some evil, malevolent entity from some other plane of existence or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why it didn't look ghostly, because it wasn't actually. As far as what it looked like, it was really weird how they really focused on the horns. Like it was. Yeah, I didn't mind the visual of it. The visual of it was okay. I thought the design of the character was cool, but they made such a big deal about like, oh, the horns are such a, once he puts those horns on, like, watch the F out. Like, do we have to say F, or can I just say the word? I mean, we already gave a disclaimer, but anyway,
I've already said fuck like 4 times.
Yeah, I know. We got some sensitive ears in the audience tonight, so I just want to clean up.
Oh, cut that shit out! Don't even be pulling that crap. Damn.
Come on! The number of jokes that we haven't made, that was the private chat that I sent you. Anyway,
we wouldn't have made a lot of those jokes anyway. Don't be doing that.
Anyway, it's almost like I'm reminded of like Thor Ragnarok with Surtur. Surtur's crown was, the giant like horns and everything. Is like, mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was like a unibrow or something. It's like no, it's a crown. Like, but that was like a key plot point, was like when this guy gets that thing on his head, watch out, here comes Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So like they kind of did the same thing here, but they didn't really play with that idea of like, okay, maybe the Ghostbusters have his horns and he's coming after them to get them, or they could have dialed that up a little bit more, because instead it was just like an hour and a half of what's going on here, guys. What's the story? We've got a librarian who's going to tell us everything about it. Good. Okay, so there's our first 90 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes is like, oh, everything just happened that he said it was going to happen. Holy shit! Like,
right?
They could have pieced it together, made it a little bit better of a mystery, and built the suspense over time, instead of like spoon feeding the audience the entire plot dump right before all the things that we were supposed to be afraid of actually happened. Like maybe spell it out like earlier, and then we're in suspense waiting to see like how long before our characters catch up to the plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to the horns, I'd forgotten about those. I'm like, is this guy like one of those like Cadillac convertibles we see in like the 60s and 70s, like driving down the dusty road, like with like the giant goddamn horns on the front? Like, what the
right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Why is it always horns, by the way? It's always horns.
They can't have the balls. I mean, that would be the other thing.
No one said balls. You said balls. Why did you go straight to balls?
That's the only other huge thing I think of when I think of giant cows. Because it's like you go to the county fair, like they got this enormous yam bag hanging down, or they got
no one
the big
said
horns.
Cows.
Okay, but I did. I said the cow horns, like on the cars.
Jesus Christ.
So you said why is it got to be horns? And I'm thinking giant cow. It's either the giant horns or the giant balls. What are they going to have? A cow tail sticking out the back? That's not.
It could be ram horns. They could be goat horns.
What if it was balls, and you had this giant set of nuts like flopping around the front of the car? It's like going down the dusty road, like these enormous testes just flopping around. Like,
don't put that image in my head. I'm picturing the scene where Garaka, by the way, is his name. Garaka, like, jams a horn. Like, can you imagine if you had to like take each testicle and just be like,
No. He sticks the bag on top of his head, and then the rest of it is him. The rest of the scenes is him like smacking the balls out of the way so he could see, like tossing it like it's his hair. Like
it's like the emo kid's hair on South Park.
It is. There you go. There's a good mental image, everybody. Oh my! Kale says, "Why is your mind on giant balls?" Look, man, I was thinking of the giant cow horns on the front of the car, and then he said, "Why's it got to be horns?" And the next thing that popped in my mind was being at the county fair with the giant nuts. Like, so Seriously, don't worry about that, Kale. Just picture Garaka like with a giant ball bag smacking up and down on his forehead for like the last half hour of the movie. Jeff Caffrey, what you thinking about, JT? Oh, just giant balls. Is this the part?
That raises a good point, though. This whole Frozen Empire thing, like they were offering up so many things in the trailer about like New York's frozen over.
Yeah.
And that was like 15 minutes of the movie. And even in New York, like as soon as the ice started, that was the most deserted goddamn city I've ever seen. Like it is incredible how few people exist in New York as soon as it freezes over.
Especially
you
for a cold
shown
weather
people
city.
Getting frozen over. That'd be cool. Or
Yes.
maybe, as soon as the thing gets, police would have been there, EMS, fire. Somebody would have come to that firehouse and, been fighting with them. Instead, it was just like, well, I guess it's just us. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was... And Vandalorian brought up a good point, too. He says, how is it that absolutely nobody got impaled by those icicles? Yeah, that was... I guess that's the family-friendly aspect of it, Sean, is that it's, yeah, Jeff Caffrey said it too. Surprisingly few people got skewered with those icicles. Yeah, that was... I mean, it's a family-friendly movie, so I can't really comment on that. I mean, I completely agree with you, AJ. It kind of all happened pretty quickly. And I think the final battle was a little bit underwhelming. It was Garaka comes to the firehouse, and then the fire master melts him, and we win. There wasn't
hold on. There was the part where the proton packs didn't do anything to him first, until the one proton pack did.
Yes.
I was hoping for more of a Ghostbusters 2 kind of fight. Again, if you're going to have a major threat in the middle of New York City, let's have the whole city fight against him. Let's make a threat so big, because they said he was like the end boss.
Yeah.
Let's have it so like the Ghostbusters can't win, and everybody's got to get behind him, because like every other movie, as soon as they beat the big bad, everybody's there to cheer him on. Where the hell were you like 20 minutes ago?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if they just had everybody show up outside the firehouse, and like all these people start singing again, and then they just yell out, "Not going to work this time. Sorry." They all bolt.
Maybe that's the only line Garaka has is, "What the hell?"
Making it better. The fuck?
Yeah.
Or just have him have the weirdest voice ever. Like he turns a, "What the fuck is that?" Like he's got like the Scooby Doo voice. Okay, this guy's no longer as scary as I thought he was. Yeah. I mean, it was cool. The whole brass and the proton pack. I guess if there's going to be ways to like harm him, it was cool that they had to do something different. So that was interesting. So I like that. Again, the Fire Master thing was a little cheesy. But yeah, I think there could have been more to it. They built it, like you said, they built him up as this big ultimate evil, and then it just really didn't take too long to kick his ass.
Mm-hmm.
So,
this might be a problem with the Ghostbusters story formula in general, is like the big villain doesn't reveal themselves until the end of the movie, and they get in one battle and they lose. Like it'd be nice to do more of like an end game or an Infinity. God, jeez, it's been so long. Sorry, Infinity War and Endgame kind of thing where the heroes got to get their butts kicked like halfway through the movie, and then they spend the rest of the time figuring out how they could possibly go at him again. Or maybe it's just WrestleMania season. I'm caught up in Cody Rhodes' storyline, but But yeah, like if this is like the big villain that's so hard to defeat, let's watch him win a little bit instead of like instant defeat every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be a good way to kind of shake things up. I mean, you mentioned the Ghostbusters storyline earlier, and people complain, oh, it's typical. But I mean, like, I was gonna say earlier, and we got onto another point, but I mean, what else really is there? I mean, it's I mean, do you want to see like some artsy fartsy, like thought provoking Ghostbusters movie? Or do you want to see Ghostbusting? I mean, it's like, it's like an AC/DC record. Like, do you think AC/DC fans want to hear him do something progressive? No. Get out there and play 4-chord jammers for 40 minutes and let's move on and get to the tour. Like, It's like some things are just good as they are. I mean, the concept of Ghostbusters does not lend itself to some, Sundance Film Festival award-winning thing. It's like, nah. Have some cool characters doing some funny things. Have some kick-ass special effects with ghosts. Throw some Slimer in there. Proton packs, and you've got yourself a movie. I mean, it's like the ultimate popcorn flick. And it was, I mean, it's awesome. It's just, it's fun.
As long as we're circling back to previous points we didn't get to in the chat, Miranda had brought up earlier the idea that she really liked the idea that, at least I think it was Miranda, I hope so, because I like this point. So whoever said it, anyway, the idea that the ghost containment unit had a capacity and it was going to get full eventually.
Did. Yeah, she did.
Like, did you like that idea? I mean, I totally see what that is. That's an environmental message. But I thought that even myself, like even as a kid watching those movies, I'm like, so you're just shoving ghosts in there. Like, how many ghosts can you stuff in that thing? Like, how long can you bust ghosts before you, well, what do you do with the ghosts? Like, unless it's a bottomless pit to like house them, then you've got to do something else with them.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like, because it kind of,
and it doesn't sound like they even solved that problem. Their solution so far seems to be that they have a bigger, deeper hole to stuff them in.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's no, I can't disagree with any of that. I actually enjoyed it, like, because I kept thinking this is kind of like the whole, okay, there's fuel in spaceships now in The Last Jedi, which is one of the few things I did not like about that movie. It's like, come on, seriously, we're going to do that now? And I started thinking about it when they first said, oh, the ghost containment thing is full. I'm going, seriously, that's what we're going to do? Like, there's a gajillion ghosts and, they take up space. And then I stopped to think, I'm like, you know what? Actually, I don't really have a problem with that, because you could at least see that as being a realistic sort of thing. It wasn't addressed before that this thing is limitless. So that's cool. Unlike, the space fuel where they just go gallivanting across the galaxy with, nary a thought in mind for, stopping at a gas station and all of a sudden they have to. So yeah, I actually like that too. It was kind of like, it was an interesting new story plot, or story is plot, you dumb dickhead. An interesting new.
I can't wait to go golfing with you, by the way. I just want to hear more of this. More of this self-talk of yours.
I am the worst at that. God bless. do a live broadcast from the golf course every time I'm hitting a shot. Yeah, I think it was a great new story point that didn't take away from anything. It's believable. It kind of furthered the lore. I don't know how much you can lean on it going forward, because you already said, oh, the thing is like full. I mean, what are they going to every movie go, oh, it's full again? Like, God damn it, we already did that.
How about the idea that the firehouse is like a nexus point and the fire pole itself was made of brass because...
That was pretty cool. I mean, dude, just having the firehouse itself was awesome. I mean, let's face it, that was cool. It's kind of like having... This
is where I wish I'd seen Afterlife again for this review, because... I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember, I thought the idea of the last one was that they were setting up franchises of Ghostbusters, right? So why the family from Afterlife had to move to New York and into the firehouse, I don't remember.
The franchise...
Fill me in on that?
Yeah, the franchise business plan failed. They had to file Chapter 13 because nobody wanted to bust ghosts, because busting did not make them feel good. So
okay,
yeah, busting.
I thought it was that there were a bunch of franchises, but Walter Peck especially. What's more fun than kicking the crap out of some Ghostbusters? So in that way, busting made him feel good.
I love these. Miranda. I mean, who doesn't like a brass pole? Like Vandalorian, because the plot needed it to happen.
There you go. That's the reason.
Somehow, just insert the Star Wars excuse into that.
Yeah.
Oh,
somehow the firehouse returned.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I forgot about the whole Nexus and brass pole thing. Like, I mean, it's a little cheesy to say that, I suppose, but it's pretty cool. I mean, okay, especially the brass pole. Like, that's kind of interesting. But Jeff, busted makes me feel unfulfilled. Nice.
Now, we've had 2 movies now where we've crossed the new group with the original Ghostbusters. Moving forward, do you think the original Ghostbusters have to be in another movie? This definitely doesn't feel like the last one to me. What do you think?
No, I definitely think they can keep going. Excuse me. And dude, I think keeping the original Ghostbusters in there, I think they definitely need to do that. I think Phoebe, and to some degree, whatever what's his name's character is, the brother who's on Stranger Things. Phoebe,
Wolf Blitzer. Yeah.
Wolf Van Halen. No, I think definitely Phoebe and somewhat the brother can carry a movie on their own without the legacy characters. As much as I love Paul Rudd, I think he and the mom can't really. And I just think you like in Star Wars, like if you would have, taken out the legacy characters, I think Rey especially was strong enough to carry those movies. Kylo Ren was strong enough to carry those movies. So it's not as big a concern. But I think in Ghostbusters, I think you kind of need those, the Rey and, Zedmore and all that kind of stuff like that. Like, I think it's kind of necessary. So, yeah, I mean, Jeff has a good idea. He says, they don't need them to do the busting, but they should be around for institutional knowledge. Like, yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. So, I mean, I completely agree with that. So I definitely think that that's something that they should continue, because I just think it makes sense. And at this point, how would you write them out? They're so entwined in the first 2 stories. What, they're just going to all of a sudden be like, yeah, piss off, family, we're not doing this anymore. Like, that's kind of, yeah, that's not really in the makeup of the character. So unless you're going to say, they all croaked. There was a the fire master did too much fire at the firehouse and burned it down, and they're dead. They died in the fire. Of all ironies, they died in the fire at the firehouse. Now they can go. And now they're hanging out with Melody. I beat you to it. They show up as ghosts all messed up, and they're looking at her and they go, "Oh, that's bullshit, man. Really?" Just looking at her all pristine, and they're all effed up.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
So I mean,
another question from the chat from Kale, is podcast back? So what this leads me to think is, by the way, it's podcast with a capital P. We're not talking about ending the show anytime soon. You're stuck with us.
Yeah.
But Podcast and Lucky, it seems like they're building up this younger cast of characters that could be a team of Ghostbusters. Would you follow the adventures of the kids? Damn, dude, double fisting. All right.
Yeah, I've got some Woodford and some Kool-Aid. I'm really doing it powerful tonight. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I you know what? It's Ghostbusters, so I would give it a shot. Uh-oh, what are you mixing for our audio viewers out there, since you're holding up a Coke bottle?
It's just Coke. I'm just saying, like, you're two fisting. I just got a bottle of Coke.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm lame tonight. It's a Wednesday, dude.
That's okay. I'm in a job quandary, so I grabbed a teeny little bit of bourbon. I'm stressed. So
now, if this was a WTF Friday,
ooh,
that's for after hours.
Turkey 101. Oh, bullshit. Like you haven't drank on this show before. Please.
I'm trying to behave myself. Anyway.
What? Good Lord. I'm putting that damn banner back up. I'm putting my new banner up. Where'd it go?
This is fantastic audio, by the way. And this is great.
I deleted it.
Talk about
Anyway,
grinding a shoulder. This is the Frozen Empire. Our show has now become the Frozen Empire.
Well, asshole, I was trying to ask you what you thought, what your opinion on that was, and you were talking over me.
I like the idea of phasing out the original characters, especially if this is going to be a modern franchise moving forward. You don't have to get rid of them entirely, but yeah, don't need them to do the busting. That's the thing. Like I don't want Bill Murray in a jumpsuit anymore.
Okay.
If we could stop with that and just say like, hey, yeah, we did that. And that's what I thought they were setting up in Afterlife was like, oh God, we know how to do this, but we're too friggin' old. Can you just do it for us, please? We'll just tell you what to do. Like, so for them to come back in this one and again, put on the proton packs, I'm like that wasn't really required.
Well, they were there. I mean, I think to kind of show that, like, how powerful this, bad guy was, Karaka.
And they got their asses handed to them. So good playing, guys.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's 8 of us now, and we still lost.
See, I like the characters. I think they can continue, and I think they should continue. I like the idea that they've got other things to do, and the actual ghost busting is being left to other people. And they started that in Afterlife. So I like that idea that, yes, there are more Ghostbusters adventures, but the original Ghostbusters recognize that they are not spry enough to bust ghosts anymore. Okay. I mean, I could see that. I would like them in there. I would understand if they weren't. I just think they need a really strong story to kind of support that, because I think if you were to do Frozen Empire without the legacy characters, I think it would suffer. So
true. I mean, especially because you said they're integral. Like, Winston is bankrolling the entire operation at this point.
Yeah.
And it was Stantz who actually knew what the hell was going on and, was researching occult artifacts. So that makes perfect sense. Yeah, they've still got roles in the story, but their role is not to be a Ghostbuster.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that they're a little too integral and a little bit too entwined in, like in Star Wars, it's kind of like an intergalactic thing and other people can do other things. But I think in Ghostbusters, it's very centralized and they are the Ghostbusters, Jeff Caffrey, the story. Bustin' makes me feel good. Exactly. See, that's what it's going to be. That's going to be okay. We have deep industry knowledge, and we're gonna throw out, like, this is a world exclusive nugget here. Okay, we know that the title of the third Ghostbusters movie in this trilogy is Ghostbusters. Bustin' makes me feel good. That's official.
And that's the last Ghostbusters movie we will ever see.
It would be amazing. They could have break the fourth wall, like Hot Tub Time Machine type shit.
No, what we need a side story of when Slimer. Let's do it like a flashback piece to Ghostbusters 2 when Slimer was. We're going to call it Ghostbusters Mass Transit, and it's going to be Slimer's time with the steering wheel in his hands and the little hat on, and the tagline is going to be "Bussin' makes me feel good."
Oh God! Did you? Are you serious? You just went there. You just went there. And how the hell did we just get what was that?
Yeah, you saw that too? Is this a ghost thing now too?
We have a ghost on our show. We had our audio viewers.
How did that happen? Wow. And thumbs up gets fired. What the hell is going on?
All right,
I don't know what this is. Hold on. I have Zoom gestures set up. I don't have Zoom on right now. So let's see. Is this going to get confetti and party? Yeah. Okay.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't know that was a thing built into the camera. I thought that was something on Zoom.
If you hold up a middle finger, does it start raining or something?
I wish. Be awesome. But let's find out. Nope, it's not recognizing that gesture.
So how the hell did you get thumbs up? Are you kidding me? Look
There
at
we
that.
go.
We have a ghost.
Why is it doing it on StreamYard? I have no idea. But anyway,
mine isn't.
Boy,
doing
man,
it.
if you're not watching the video version of this show's gonna suck.
Wah, 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 wah. Oh my god.
Anyway, any final thoughts on Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire before we get out of here?
Yeah. Again, I thought it was. Kale, why did it just start raining here in Bunbury? Nice. Yeah, like I said, I mean, going over all the stuff and kind of, remembering all these different things, it didn't change my interpretation of the movie. It just kind of enhanced it. Like, I liked it. It was good. The things I had a problem with didn't make me, didn't turn me off from it. Again, if I had to watch any of the four other than, the fifth one in 2016, this would be the last one I would watch. But again, I would enjoy it. It would be cool. So I think it's an entertaining movie, and I think it's getting a bad rap in all the reviews. I really do. I mean, you're going to see a Ghostbusters movie, for Christ's sakes. What do you want? It's like going to Burger King and complaining that the food wasn't great. Well, you're going to Burger King. I mean, it's not supposed to be, Fleming's Steakhouse. You go there for a nice, cheap, delicious, filling, greasy burger, and you're never disappointed, man, because that's what you get there. You know what you're getting when you get there. It's always the same, and it always tastes great. It's a guilty pleasure type of a thing. And so, that's what this movie is, and that's what this franchise is. So, Kale, shut up, you ass. Says, I think it'd be the last one you'd watch because you'd probably watch them in order. Go. Don't you have an album to write, Kale? Go away. Oh my God, I love Kale. He's hilarious. All right, so your final thoughts on. All
right, so as we started with, if it's got to be Afterlife or Frozen Empire, obviously Frozen Empire couldn't exist without Afterlife. So much of this would make no sense without that previous movie. But I enjoyed this one more. I spent so much time in Afterlife waiting for it to feel like a Ghostbusters movie instead of a movie that had Ghostbusters in it. And this one just felt like a Ghostbusters movie to me. So I thought I had more fun with this. And to your point, I knew what I was. Well, I thought I knew what I was in for going into it, and I got exactly that. So I went in wanting a Whopper, and I got a Whopper. So yeah. I'm okay. I'm happy with it, and I actually really like the idea that there was enough of the old formula in there to make it feel like a Ghostbusters movie, but also enough new stuff, including Melody, to develop the younger characters. To develop the younger characters and add something new to the formula, because there wasn't a whole lot of character development in the original movies, let's be honest. So at least now we've got a little bit more depth to the cast, especially the younger cast. So when they have to take on more of the narrative burden in future movies, we're invested in them.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm gonna give it a higher ranking than Afterlife. And I think in the pantheon of the four movies that we care about in Ghostbusters, 2016 notwithstanding, it's between 2 and 3 for me. And the ones below it, in fact, I haven't finished my rewatch of Ghostbusters 2, and that's why I say 2 or 3. If I like Ghostbusters 2 a lot, then it'll be number 3, and if not, then I'm going to put 2 and Afterlife below it.
Okay. I have not ranked them, so that's not something I can do on the fly, because I think it's definitely, I'm sure it's probably easy though. I mean, it's, I think honestly, I think it might be in release order for me, but I do like them all. So, oh God, Carp, my damn drummer. What's up? Ray Parker Jr. cannot be contained because he's not a ghost, you dummy.
Right.
He doesn't know anything. This guy, dude. This is what you get when you hang out with somebody who just hits things for a living. Oh, Lord Neanderthal.
One final thought. I do wish they had consulted the Ecto-1 before dragging it out of mothballs, because as it was sitting there in the barn, maybe Rustin makes it feel good.
Oh, my God. Seriously?
But the side job for Miranda is cleaning houses. Maybe Dustin makes her feel good.
See, I wish you wouldn't do this, because I was really hoping you were going to make these bad puns. Because, dude, and you like Trustin makes me feel good, but you're not providing me with a lot of trust. You know what I'm saying? Like
that. Okay, that is a fair point, but I mean, we've got a baker on the show tonight with Chastity. Maybe she does more than cinnamon rolls. Maybe she makes pies, and Crustin makes her feel good. You're trying, aren't you?
No, it's just
I can see the wheel spinning.
I just wish my brother-in-law was on the show because like he's awesome at this, and Justin makes me feel good. So, like how about that? I used a name. Whoa,
nice
cheating. Of course, Carp comes in. Carp for the win. He says, Lustin makes me feel good. Yep. Very good. Very good. Oh,
and with that, do you want to close up shop? Because we're not going to top that.
Yes, we can do that. I believe we do have the schedule for the upcoming virtual Cantina Network shows. Do we not?
We do.
Alrighty. Well, I will bring that up.
Would you like to see that now?
I will do that. So, obviously, you are watching the Nerf Herder Council. You already know that. So, the rest of this week on the virtual Cantina Network on Thursday, March 28th, obviously tomorrow, at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. It is the VCN Watch Along. It is Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 9, so tune in for that. On Friday, March 29th, at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, midnight Pacific Time, it is the Bad Batch After Show, Final Season, Episode 9. And on Sunday, March 31st at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, no show, 5th Sunday. Jedi Archives and Unifying Force are off on the 5th Sunday, so there will be no show for them. But, yeah, so make sure you guys catch the VCN Watch Along tomorrow night and the Bad Batch After Show on Friday. Those are both awesome programs. If you haven't caught them before, please make sure that you do. AJ, before we jump out of here, tell everybody about our Patreon program.
Yes, if you go to patreon.com/NHC podcast, all of our shows go up there. If you subscribe to our Patreon tiers, we have $1 a month or $3 a month. $1 a month is very simple. It gets you early audio access to the podcast, so you can get this in your earballs on Fridays instead of Sundays. And for the $3 level, we'll also give you a shout-out on the air like our good buddies Joseph Wren and Mark Thrasher already do, so you can get your names up here on the show as well. And we also have plenty of content in the pipeline ready to go. We're going to launch a new tier at $5 whole a month coming up next month. We're going to have commentaries, might do some watch-alongs and some live events that are subscriber-only. So sign up for that $5 tier when it goes live. And the best news of all is that you don't have to spend any money whatsoever to subscribe to us on Patreon. As we make updates to the show, then we're going to post there first. So that's your first opportunity to find out like what merch is dropping next or what bonus content is available only on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/NHC podcast, sign up for no tiers or one of the tiers that you choose, and we will put that money to good use and bring you more of this nonsense until you puke.
Yes, that's our goal in the Nerf Herder Council, is to make people vomit. Hopefully we have been successful. Or hopefully we have not been successful. So, well, thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Huge props to everybody in the chat, Zamian and Miranda. Obviously, our good buddy Spencer. We didn't even bring Spencer's comments up on the screen. Vandalorian, Sean Hines, of course, Jeff Caffrey, Shane O'Mac, Brian Carpenter. I'll see you on Saturday. Please don't screw up any of the songs because I never make mistakes. Chastity Crawley, always good to see you. Hopefully you enjoy this one too, Chastity. Chastity is one of our biggest fans, listeners, viewers of my music podcast, Talking Into Infinity. So awesome to see her. And yeah, so thanks to everybody. AJ, anything else before we sign off for the night?
Well, I just wanted to say, what are we doing for our next episode? Oh, wait, I've already called it. We are going to be 11 episodes into the final season of The Bad Batch, and we are a Star Wars podcast, so I would like to talk about the season so far before we get into that final run of episodes leading up to May the 4th.
Okay, so the next episode is Bad Batch Season 3. The next episode will also be subtitled AJ Fixes His Microphone. So we'll have that all fixed for you since it's all jacked up now for the last few minutes. So maybe just shut the fuck up for the last few seconds of the show so that at least it sounds good on the outro. Oh, there we go. By the way, yeah, Jeff Caffrey's right. Nothing can top the Chewy shirt. Yes, the Chewy shirt is officially on sale. So make sure you guys go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com to get your very own Chewbacca's family shirt. And AJ, I'm just going to put it out there. I think we need a new t-shirt design based on tonight. We need the official Nerf Herder Council Ghostbusters logo with Bustin' Makes Me Feel Good under the Nerf Herder Council logo in Ghostbuster font. I'm just going to say, so there you go.
Works for me. It's going to be a limited run because as soon as the lawyers get a handle on it, it's going down. So
see, we should just put
reason to be on Patreon.
Yeah. Also, we could just make it live while we're on the air here and have people just scramble to buy them on the air. That'd be good too. So anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Again, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you are watching on either our YouTube channel or the YouTube channel of the Virtual Cantina Network, please make sure to click like and subscribe and also hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. Again, if you would like to get customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. And if you would like to get Virtual Cantina Network gear, go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. Vandalorian, one last time for the night, says, Nerf herding makes me feel good. Amen to that, brother. So, guys, I am JT. He is AJ. We will be right back here with you on, let's see, what is the date going to be? I'm always bad when the calendar changes. It is 2 weeks from tonight.
That'll be Wednesday, April 10th.
Wednesday, April 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, guys, until then, guys, I am JT at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
Trying to get a thumbs up going on my screen here at Drake Adams 579.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.